can see the dicer right here. It was believed to be one of the original dicers from the original replica or original store. The only reason we're not too sure is because of the warehouse fire and stuff like that. But we believe this is one of the original ones. This is a farmer's sink, so what they used to clean the produce and stuff like that. Some old soda boxes that they had. Yeah, they used to fryers somewhat similar to this. These are electric, or these are actually gas. I'm sorry, powered ones. Gas grill, and this would be the cheese grater. So they put the block of cheese in here. It's a little old, so it's a little hard to use. They put the block of cheese in there basically, and then they measure it out to how thick they wanted it. And so when they'd spin it, it'd slice the cheese. So it was a lot cheaper to buy a whole brick of cheese than to slice cheese, or to buy sliced cheese. So that's how they saved money. They bought it themselves like that. Just a cold spot, old refrigerator. We used to heat meat and stuff like that here. Now we use it for like cleaning supplies. But that's what they used it for. This and the Coca-Cola hot box was found online, and they're actually restored by Rick's Restoration in Las Vegas. And they'll make their own little TV shows and stuff like that. We used to brew coffee. We still have coffee on the menu, but when we first opened, we also had coffee. They brew it like an old-fashioned way. So they put the grinds in there and the hot water on top, and then they would just run through and fall into the bottom like that. This would be our cash drawer, or a cash drawer. And so it was actually brought in from their house, from Harry and Esther's house, and it's a nightstand that they just converted into that. Right now you'll see some of the old pop boxes that we had, or some of the old pop sodas we had. We used to sell Pepsi and Coca-Cola at the same time. That stopped. We're strictly Coca-Cola now. So you have the drive hand out window above the old one. You have to smile, just to make sure that everybody that works, they were handing out burgers and stuff like that. Smile. You won't find that in the newer stores or any other stores in general, but that's something that they had in the store when they first opened. You have right here is the two-way speaker. And so when we first opened, that's how he created it. He like wired it himself. And so this is how they used to use a two-way speaker out there. Like that. A lot of people didn't know what a drive-thru was, just simply because In-N-Out was the first drive-thru, and so that's why you see the white rocks. People would drive and hit the white rocks, stuff like that. So every morning he'd go out and paint the rocks again white, so they look nice and clean.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the rock drive-thru was a lot cheaper just to do that than to have something paved. And he simply threw the rocks down, and instead of having somebody mash them down or push them down to like a set place, he just simply had the cars do it. When they roll through, they would run it over and push everything down like that. So that's what the rock drive-thru came to. He had a cigarette machine as well, so it was just a way to make extra money. So he used to sell cigarettes with the burger, and so it's like 10 cents or 20 cents for a pack of smokes and a penny for matches. Yeah, and like I said earlier, that sign that's out there right now, that's a replica of the original sign, but the original sign is actually back in the warehouse. So when we were building this, they wanted to put that original sign, but in order to do that, they had to put a bigger pole, and because state ordinance and all that stuff. So they decided just to, if they had to put a big pole like that, they might as well just do a big sign. So that's what the sign came from. But yeah, and then you have an old board. Nowadays, when you work this position, which is putting the burgers together, they call it a board. And in reality, it's just like a metal board. But when we first opened, they had an actual board like this. This is the same wood that they use for basketball courts with that, so it feels nice and soft and stuff like that. Yeah. And then wood mats. We use rubber mats now, but I mean these were used to get grip and stuff like that. And so occasionally like the oil would fall on this or anything like that, and it could go slippery. So you'll see sometimes people putting salt on the floor just to get a little extra grip and stuff like that. Yeah, some like old pictures right here. So this is what the stand used to look like when it was busy. And that's the sign I'm talking about that they had back there. So yeah, like that's when the stand was actually getting built and how small it is. Anyway, it's crazy because if you look at this, it's pretty much to the T of how it looks now. I mean, that cigarette machine's right there, that open side on the other side of the pole, and these little sticks like that. So it's pretty much like built the way they had it. The white rocks, grass, all that stuff. Yeah, so this is just what it looked like when we were first building it. Just somebody peeling potatoes in that room, and see that room right there. That's I was telling you earlier how if we were to have events, they have to have a restroom. They were thinking of building this in the back right there, the little grassy area, and they built this right there, and so it looked like exactly what they used it for, but it'd be actually a restroom. And so then we had that. And this is another picture of it, so you could see if you compare pictures of what it actually looked like and how over the years it just changed. So I mean, you'll see like the top right there, that's different from the one right here. But I mean, over the years it just constantly kept changing. But that gentleman right there is one of In-N-Out's very first employees. And so our employee numbers go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. And so he is associate number 1. Yeah, so he was In-N-Out's first employee. He's still alive today, and he helped us put this together and stuff like that. Wow. So he was the one that like, oh yeah, it was a little bigger or stuff like that, drawing up their plans and stuff like that. So he was a very nice guy and helped us like that. But I mean, even if you look, that light, there's a light right above us, or right there. You see this little pole there, and it's just crazy like how much detail they put into it. And then this is just an aerial shot. So right here, this is Francisquito, so that's the street that we see right now. This street was actually Garvey, and Garveys are here. It looks a little different nowadays, but when 1954 came, like I said, the freeway came, and so the freeway came just exactly like this and destroyed and took out our stand, which is right there. This right here is actually Harry and Esther's house. And so this is where the university sits out right now. So their house was destroyed, and this university sits right there. And then this is just like I said, right up there. When late at night, there'd only be one employee working at night. They had a direct phone line, and so let's say he got really busy, he'd call over and Harry would answer the phone, and so he'd just run over to the stand. And then, like if you see the picture earlier, there are always pictures of Harry, which is he's not in this picture, but he'd always be wearing a white uniform. White pants and white shirt and stuff like that. So in the case that they ever needed him, he could just simply run over and not have to worry about changing the uniform and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's Garvey. And that's how it came. And that's how I kind of got started too, is because Garvey was one of the main roads to get from West Caribbean and all this to actually LA. And so people would pass by and be like, oh, burger shop, whatever, come in, try it, and then they found love with it and stuff like that. He would actually, for his produce and stuff like that, and how he got the fresh stuff and stuff like that, he would actually drive out to LA where the produce was delivered, and he'd kind of pay the people that would bring the lettuce and tomatoes and stuff like that. He'd pay them so that he can get the freshest stuff. So he can get the freshest tomatoes, the first pick of everything basically. He'd go through it and make sure that they had the freshest tomatoes and lettuce and stuff like that. To this day, we still hand pick our own stuff. They'll go through all the potatoes and make sure that when we buy them, that's what we want. That's the right size, the right big and stuff like that. And then funny story of what I heard is that whatever potatoes we don't pick lays and ends up buying those potatoes and stuff like that. So that's and then it's the same picture. But yeah. So outside you'll see that washer and dryer I talked about earlier. And so that's the washer, and that's how they would do potatoes and stuff like that. And right here you'll see a little look at this, the mountains and stuff like that, that'd be back there, but you can't see much, I guess. Prices and like that. So it says In-N-Out Burger opened in October 22nd, 1948 at 4:15 p.m. random time for some weird reason, Baldwin Park. The store was originally on Francisquito and Garvey, where the current freeway overpass is now located. They moved to this location in 1954. On that first day in 1948, 10 by 10 building, just like Harry and Esther sold 57 burgers on. They welcomed customers and took orders through a two-way speaker, which is what we saw earlier over there. They built a replica to show